So I happened upon an interesting bit of news as I was perusing through the multitude of different things that are going on right now in the world. But one thing that kind of slipped was an executive order that Dumpy Pants signed in February. Now, while he is enacting this mass deportation to get all the brown people out, this mass deportation is not geared towards the million plus people that come into the country from Europe or Canada. This mass deportation is geared toward the people who come here from brown countries. Let's just get that straight. There's two things about the story that are very interesting, and I didn't put it together until I saw another story on it. A while back, a story came out that Elonia Muskrat was creating a city in Texas. It was close to the border of Mexico, and he was making this city for SpaceX. And he said that it was going to be for his SpaceX employees, and they were making schools, stores, housing, all of that for people to come and live there, raise their families there, and work for SpaceX. That was the story. Then you hear that in February, during the whole litany of executive orders that Trump put out, he put out an executive order to bring over white South Africans who are, in their words, being persecuted for their race. And he is bringing all of those white South Africans here as refugees. This executive order was signed in February, and they are supposed to come over and arrive on Monday, this Monday. I have a couple of things to say about this. For one, these people are the descendants of the people who went into Africa and stole all of their lands and just made their lands that land. Basically how the Americans did the Native Americans here. But unlike the Native American story, the South Africans are taking their lands back. They're saying, this was not yours. You stole this, and you passed it down to your kids, thinking that you were going to make us subservient to you in our country, and that's not going to happen anymore. So Trump suddenly thinks that people should be able to come to America because they are being persecuted in their own country. Trump suddenly feels as if refugees seeking asylum from persecution is something worth a path to citizenship. But he couldn't do it for the brown people who he is literally kidnapping off the street to send back to the same places that they fled because of persecution. Anybody who wants to argue that this is not a race thing, you are deluding yourself. That's just all there is to it. Because brown people fleeing their countries to seek asylum in the United States, they should get the same treatment as these people who are being flown over from South Africa seeking asylum here in the United States, with our tax dollars paying for that flight, because they're being persecuted in the place that they were born. Do you see how there's a difference there in the treatment of these people versus the treatment of the brown people who are doing the same thing in their homes? Trump wants people to feel sorry for these people, but then they want you to be totally okay with ICE kidnapping people, separating parents from kids, deporting 2-year-olds and 4-year-old cancer patients. They want you to be okay with that at the same time that they're telling you that you should care about these people whose ancestors stole this land and are having to now give that land back. I just think the hypocrisy is interesting. Now, I am not against refugees seeking asylum. I would be totally okay with these white South Africans who can no longer live meaningful lives in South Africa coming over here to try to live the American dream. That's what the American dream is supposed to be for, right? Like, you come over here to try to find a better life. I'm not against that. But when you prioritize that and then you demonize the brown people doing the exact same thing, and their ancestors didn't even hurt anybody, they're fleeing persecution for their own reasons, you're going to categorize all of them as criminal just for coming here to seek asylum when our laws say that they can do that? The hypocrisy is just out of this world to me. Going back to that city that Elonia Muskrat is building, when those refugees get here, they're landing in Dallas, Texas. Where do you think they're going to go? MAGA thought they would be allowed to go and live in that city and work for SpaceX and have their nice little community with the schools and the malls and the housing and all this and the good pay. It looks like that might not have been the plan. This might have been the plan. Also, in the executive order, it says that because these people are the people whose farmland was taken from them, they're coming over as farmers so they can start companies in agriculture here. Has anybody talked to the farmers in America lately? The agricultural industry is not doing well, like, at all. And over half of them voted for Trump. Trump has literally gotten rid of their contracts, gotten rid of Biden-era help that they were getting, supplements that they were getting. Deals with China and Canada and Mexico are falling apart. They have gutted the Meals on Wheels and Soup Kitchen initiatives, which were helping farmers to sell to those places to get people food. Millions of dollars, billions of dollars taken out of funding, so the farmers no longer have those contracts anymore. Like, farmers are not doing well. So if those people are coming over as farmers, they about to find out real quick that they're not going to have the life that they think. If they're not coming over as farmers and that's just what they're putting on the piece of paper, they are going to be the people living in the SpaceX city. It would make sense. Now, granted, Trump is doing this because he thinks that those people arriving on Monday are going to be on his side. They have the same political views as he does. Now, listen, you have to be a citizen to vote in this country. How fast do you think he is going to make those white people a citizen when there was no clear path to citizenship for the brown people who had come in the right way, seeking asylum? The hypocrisy is laughable.